Howdy, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good day. Martin, Death Cube, Vince, how's it going? A little early, but I think that'll be all right. So, if anybody caught my short earlier today, we yet again have an issue with the ant head, and a few things are happening with it, and I've had enough. So I've printed rapid burner parts, and it will be getting rapid burner. We'll have to figure out the filament cutting on it. But yeah, I've had enough. Right now I'm dealing with a Rapido that is yet again clogged. So this PTFE tube goes in, and there's a space where the blade comes across above the PTFE tube and to cut the filament. So there's room for this PTFE tube to come up when it pulls the filament out, for it to come up, and no way to push that back down. So then you get cold side jams in there, because now there's a space between it and the heat break and everything. Absolute disaster. And then if that fan gets moved ever so slightly, it kinks and runs the blades into the side of the fan housing, causing the fan not to turn, exasperating this issue. So I just need to get this apart. Normally I'd use a torch, but I've already bought a new thermistor and heater for this stupid thing once, and I don't want to buy it again. So real quick, we're going to see if I can't get this apart, and then push this material out. We are going to work on the switch wire, but we're going to do this first. Should have done this while it was still in the printer. I need to get a new heat gun too, Martin. Don't feel too bad. All right, let's go over here. How's it going? Probably going to be a bit of a slow stream tonight. All right, so now we've got the nozzle undone. Let's get that out of there. See. That's a negative. All right. So now I know I don't need to heat this up. I need to heat up there. Down Undermaker, how's it going? Luke? It is out of the ant head. It's got a cold side jam. So I never had any issues with this until we went to using a filament cutter. And I'm going to explain why here in a second. Ooh, that's kind of hot. All right, so here's the deal. So this right here is where your whatchamacallit, your hot end mounts to in the ant head. Now, typically, if you're not using the leaf cutter, the faceplate to this comes, slides on over top, and then you run PTFE tube all the way down, and then the top of that PTFE tube is pushed up against the bottom of the extruder. So this PTFE tube can't move up and down. Now, when you use the leaf cutter, the filament cutter on the ant head, it doesn't work like that. Your cutting blade comes across between that front plate and this. So your blade pushes in from the side like this. So now your PTFE tube only goes to here, and there's nothing to hold it down. So what happens, you cut it, you eject, it pulls that filament back out and pops this up a little bit. Now, two things happen. Number one, the next time you go to change filament, it won't cut it because the PTFE tube's in the way. And number two, there is now a space between the bottom of the PTFE tube and the top of your heat break. And when you get retracts, it pulls up and just keeps piling molten material between the PTFE tube and that heat break, causing a cold side jam. And you combine that with the fact that that fan, the 3010 fan, isn't rigidly attached. If you run a 2510 fan, you can put heat sets into the front of this and bolt your 2510 fan straight to the front of this if you so want it. But the 3010 does it, and then it drops down and gets twisted a little bit, and the blades hit into the outer housing, causing the fan to stop, making your cold side jam tendency even worse. So yeah, it's an absolute disaster. The ant head worked perfect as far as like not getting jams in it until I installed the leaf cutter on it. Installed the leaf cutter on it, and nothing but hot end jams. Now, leaf cutter's annoying because it's a pain in the butt to take apart and put back together. The good thing is, when it comes to that, is that it tends to give you a lot of practice. Yeah, tachometer pin would help. The board that's in here is an EBB Gen 1. I don't know if you can like repurpose a pin as a tachometer pin in that or not, but I'm not particularly fussed about it. It is what it is. It's getting switched out. I have to have something that works. Jeff, how's it going? Yeah, as long as you didn't put the leaf cutter on there, Luke, you should be fine, because your PTFE tube's going to come in after you put the front plate on. You're going to run that PTFE tube in, and then your extruder is going to sit down against it. But without the with the leaf cutter, this is just free floating in there. There's nothing holding it down. This is still a little warm. Get in there so I can put this down. It's hot. Goodness gracious. All right. Anyway, So I've got everything printed for that now. So that might be what we end up doing tomorrow. Maybe, if I can find some time to stream. So much crap going on tomorrow, I don't know. Yeah, you should be fine using 2510s and no cutter. Just I can show you. Hold on a second, because I got the shroud. So here's the shroud. Normally, if you're not using the cutter, this is going to come in here, your hot end, and then you're going to stick your PTFE tube down through the top, and then your extruder is going to sit down against it. But when you're using the cutter, the blade goes right in between these two parts. So you put heat sets in here, and now that blade, that PTFE tube, is free to move up and down the space of that gap. There's nothing holding it down anymore. And let's filament get underneath of that. Just like back in the day with an Ender 3, when you didn't have your PTFE tube all the way down in there nice and tight. And you'd get jams in your old PTFE tube lined hot end. It's having the same issue. I think the way you would solve that, if you wanted to, was you would take maybe run a heat set in here and chamfer that, and then run your PTFE tube with your hot end up to this, and then that's going to keep that PTFE tube from moving up and down, and it would solve your problem probably for that. But it's not going to solve the fan sliding down, because there's nothing that holds that fan in here. It just slides in there, it gets slid down, and then gets cocked a little sideways, and pressure gets put on that housing and twists it, and it doesn't work. No, it would be really hard to remove. And that's the other thing too. If something happens, it's stuck in there. Everything's stuck together. So we're not doing it. I'm done. I washed my hands of it. I tried more times than I should. I've got everything printed out. I took and scaled the cutter down so that this would fit the depressor mount, so that it would fit on a 1515 extrusion. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Good. I mean, if I wanted to keep it, I'd have to put that heat set in there and deal with that. I'd have to order a 2510 fan, and it is more expensive to buy one 2510 fan than it is to buy like 2 or 3 3010 fans. I don't understand why they're so damn expensive. But they are. So, it is what it is. Yep. Is what it is. What? Brad, how's it going? Appreciate you. Thank you, man. You are awesome. Let's see. So, let me get you caught up to where we are on the Switchwire. I have Clipper flashed to the Pi. I went ahead and flashed Clipper to the SK Mini, whatever it's called. Tied up with family stuff, I get it. It's been my day. Might be my day tomorrow. I'm gonna grab this can of cashews because I'm kind of hungry. Ate dinner early. Now I'm hungry. Using Luke's mug here. You can find Luke's merch. I'm sure there's a link on the description on his videos. You can also find my merch, link in the description. Now, it looked like Clipper's already flashed to this Nighthawk tool head. The issue I'm getting is this. So, let me minimize this, close this out. And bring this down. I don't know if you can read it there. But Clippers doesn't seem to be running, or it can't connect to it for some reason. And I'm not sure why. So we've got our MCU. If you look here on devices, we've got, what is this? I'm not sure. This is the the controller board. This is the cartographer, and RP2040. That's the tool head board. So I copied over config from the other switch wire. I haven't posted to, got shared by some. The Rapture's coming nutbag site, and all of a sudden I went from 50 followers to 2,100 in a couple of weeks. Interesting. I have no idea what any of that means. I had no idea that you could monetize at Facebook. Anyway, so let's start the cartographer stuff. System restart. Cancel. Retry. Oh, interesting. Astrophotography, okay. Hmm. All right. It's the Death Star. That's right. All right, let's go over here to the Nighthawk 36 GitHub. Configs. Hardware. No. Is there a manual somewhere? Download the GitHub. Nighthawk 36 manual. Okay. Dun, dun. Ship with both catapult and clipper installed. Well, I don't think I need to do any of that, actually. All right, let's go over here to downloads. Extract. Go back over here. Upload file. Let's go to downloads. Configs. Open. Excellent. Should be able to delete that. Devices. Copy. And paste. Save. Let's go through this real quick. We'll mess with that later. Nighthawk-36 config. So include Nighthawk-36.cfg. Save and restart. Down Under Maker, I don't even think I'm in your Discord. I didn't know you had one. Fun fact, thanks to an oversight during the hardware revision of Gen 2 board prototypes on specs on the website, and docs says it's only 80 watts, but it'll actually do 120 watts for tube. Excellent. And Clippy UDS address is correctly configured in the Moonraker config. What does it look like on all the other printers? Printer data. Printer data /com/Clippy. Copy. Underscore UDS underscore address. Semicolon. Save and restart. Is there a way to figure out if Clipper is actually up and running? Anyone know? Fuck. I think that might be our problem right there. Who was it the other day said something about stuff doesn't work on Trixie? Loaded. Status failure. Yeah, I think can't remember whose stream I was watching. Says process, execute, start, home, pi, Clippy environment, bin, Python, Clipper, ARGS, code equals exited, status equals 1/failure. Well, the good news is that I get to go through this all over again. The bad news is I'm getting really tired of doing the same shit over and over again. Da-da. So I got to go a hunting for the previous version. What phrase is that, Luke? No, it will not run on Trixie. It's got Calico on it. It won't run on 13. I was warned about that the other week. And had to redo another printer. I feel like I'm going insane, Luke. I really do. I feel like I'm going totally fucking insane. I keep rebuilding the same fucking ant head over and over again. I keep redoing firmware over and over again. It's like fucking Groundhog's Day around this bitch. Yeah. I don't know why I forgot about that. I just deleted the version I had, though, was for the Pi 5 anyway. All right, let me see. Raspberry Pi.com software. Does anybody remember what view sources? what version 12 was called. Was it Bullseye? Bookworm. Raspberry Pi, Bookworm. Download. Raspberry Pi OS downloads. I need this for a 4B. I don't want 64-bit. I want this is Trixie. I don't want Trixie. Bookworm, 64-bit. No. Bookworm, 32-bit. Legacy, full light. All right, that image is downloading, so I'll just flash that on and go all the way to all right. You want to debug it a bit? We can debug it a bit. It's turning on. It's turning on. I've had nothing but trouble with 64-bit versions of Raspberry Pi OS. All right. So let's bring up command prompt. SSH Pi. How do I make this text bigger? Function F12? No. I want to try to make this bigger for you guys. No, I'm not interested. Oh, okay. Simple enough. Windows Plus. Whoa, I don't want it that big. What is it doing to me? Stop it. No. Can we just go to like... Oh. Settings. Seriously? Type in search for accessibility in the settings menu. Display. I just want text size. No, I don't want to change everything's scale. Oh. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. I don't have the patience for it. The issue is that it won't start Clipper. Okay. Copy. Okay. Install Clipper. You want to assign custom names to each instance? No. No. Uh, yeah, there's no CAN bus on this one, actually. Click the top icon on command prompt window, click properties, then font tab. Properties, font. You're awesome. Okay, so we have reinstalled that. Back, enter. So we've got Crow's Nest, Clipper screen, client config, main sail, Moonraker. Go into an update. We've got some system updates available. Yeah, I've just used Bookworm, I've not messed with Trixie. I started to, stuff wasn't working. Whoever stream I was watching said something about Trixie not working, and I was like, oh, perfect, let me go fix that. And rolled it back, and, well, didn't roll it back, just a fresh install again with Bookworm, and like fucking magic, everything worked. I love how stuff is non-stop getting broken between everything. Back. Quit. Sudo service clipper status. Yeah, still not working. Let's go back over here. Try to restart Clipper. Reboot all together, maybe? Since we installed a bunch of updates, we'll reboot it. What'd you get to play with, DJ? We can come back in here to the Moonraker config and switch this back to the other one and see what it does. I don't think it's going to matter though. Save and restart. No, it's not working. All right, what I do want to do before I go and get rid of all this stuff is I want to download the changes I made to the config, because I went on a hunt trying to find the sensorless homing configs for this thing, and I think I have them, because I got to do sensorless homing on X. Picture on Discord. All right, let me go over here and let me look. Death Cube, I see that you joined the Discord. Welcome. Where'd you post them at, DJ? Did you DM him to me? No. I don't see where you sent the picture to. Now, speaking of which, I really want to try to find a record player. Over here on the shelf is one of those like cheap ones from Walmart. My daughter got it for oh yeah, I did see that. Sorry. You got new crimpers and some JST terminals. Yes, I did see that. Sorry. Yep. I saw that a couple hours ago, I think. And that's all. I was outside taking the dog out. So I thought you posted something new. But I don't need DJ equipment, but I have if you were in the rock and roll in the 80s and early 90s, there's a good chance I have every record you want. I inherited my my dad's music collection. I didn't count how many records I have, but it's a lot. And it's several hundred CDs as well. Alright, so I downloaded those configs. You know it's going to be a pain in the butt? I went through hell getting this freaking screen to work. Hopefully I don't have to redo that. Shut down. Hopefully it just works. Except yeah, I went through hell getting this touch screen to work. I wonder if I've got another SD card that I can use. There's a 32 gig one. That way I don't necessarily have to erase this one. I need to go get some more SD cards. All right. Let's put Raspberry Pi imager. Choose a device, Raspberry Pi 4. Operating system. Use custom. Mac downloads. Bookworm Lite. Storage. Next. Edit settings. Alright. I need a better host name than Black Switchwire. It's way too much to freaking type. I'm open to suggestions in chat. A name for this Switchwire. That one over there is called Switchwire 2 because Switchwire 1 everything refuses to connect to, B switch, excellent. B switch. Gonna write that down. Yeah, we'll make it capitals. B switch. Love it. Love it. Save. Yes. Yes. Come on, come on, come on. Give me the little prompt to ask me if I want to allow it to write stuff to media. All right, there we go. Jeb, how's it going? I don't rightly know. We'll find out as soon as we get this printer up and running. So here's where we run into issues and where it kind of maxes out, because it runs into that. So I can give you a rough idea. It's right about 214 millimeters in Z. Trying to troubleshoot some extrusion issues. What kind of extrusion issues? Yeah, the umbilical gets in the way here, runs into the belt. This I'm going to remedy. I have like the leashes, that retractable leash things that you put like ID cards on or whatever, name badges. I use those on everything to keep stuff getting pulled in the right direction. So I'll do the same on this. Like the Switchwire has, the Trident has one mounted up here in the front. 2.4 has one mounted in the back right corner. I might change that one though. The Prusa has one on the back to keep the umbilical cable to the tool head out of the way of prints on the bed. Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely put a 90-degree connector on there or something if you really wanted to, and then you could get another. If you put a 90-degree connector on that and you had it go back, you could add another 35 millimeters to that, which would get you to like your full 250 in Z. I don't know what I get on that one. I could look. That has a stealth burner on that one. Really? Do you have the steps, rotation distance and everything calibrated right? So that when it's turning 70, like 100 millimeters of material, it's actually moving 100 millimeters of material? Because a flow ratio of 0.75 is, that's weird, man. Checked rotation distance a few times and it's dialed in. Huh. I'm assuming this is just on one printer, right? Yeah, you check the grub screw. It could potentially be loose or something and slipping when you're measuring it, but then actually grabbing when you're printing. I don't know, that seems like it would be weird. A loose grub screw would normally end up with a extrusion rate that was higher. The other thing that could be wrong is you could have like a 0.4 nozzle in the printer and the slicer thinks that you have like a 0.5 or a 0.6. Actually, I think if the slicer thought you had a 0.6 and you actually had a 0.4, that math would actually line up perfect. I check your slicer profile and make sure that the nozzle size for the printer and the slicer matches reality for what's on there. You'd also end up with some really weird looking prints too. Lines would be spaced too far apart. Maybe not though if you're like over pushing material. Anyway, we're not going to stay on here too terribly long. I think we're about to actually call it here. I will, when this is done doing what it's doing, it's done. But I'll mess with that. See if that fixes the issue. And we'll revisit this again. I need to get this stuff done. Oh, update on filament for the Mammoth Greg build is on its way. Thank you, Dan over at West 3D for sponsoring the filament for that build. It's going to be awesome. So we have that to look forward to coming up. If I stream tomorrow, I think we're going to replace the tool head on the Micron. If not, if stuff's just too crazy and too busy, then we'll do that on Monday. Follow up with me, Jeb, though. Let me know what you find out when you get something figured out, because I'm curious about that too. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button. Yeah. Have a great evening.